is your boy Alex. Today I got another special video for you, Sex Game. Seemed like you guys really loved that video 24 hours ago. Yeah! And y'all were probably shocked that I told you the truth in that video, because what I said in that video was true. Now, I know some men are going to get in their feelings when they come across that video on YouTube, like, what the hell is this guy talking about? But I have another video for men, and it doesn't matter if you're a black man, a white man, a Mexican man, or an Asian man. Doesn't matter if you're from Japan or China. Doesn't matter if you're from Russia or Germany or planet Mars. And it doesn't matter if you're from planet Vegeta. Yes, I said planet Vegeta, as in Dragon Ball Z. And this title is going to be called Sex Game to, we're gonna call it Sex Game Men Should, with a question mark. And before I upload it, I could possibly change the name of the title to something much better than that. And that is, what do you do if you're too fat, too short, ugly, and you've been rejected by women 10 times, 15 times, 20 times, or 30 or 40 or 50 times? And some guys might say, well, I'm physically sexually attractive on an occasion and I still get rejected. And I have some personal experience in all four categories. Once upon a time, I was called the ugly person. Once upon a time, I was called fat. Now, as far as being short, I have never been told I'm short. I've never been told I was ugly. Only to a small group of women I was ugly, but that was because I shaved too damn much. But I experienced those three. And I'm about to talk about the phenomenon that most men complain about. Man, I am good looking, so why these women ain't stepping to me? What's the problem? What's going on? And I'm about to tell you one of the key secrets to fixing that problem. Now, some of you men will accept it. Some of you men will thumbs up the video. Some of y'all will thumbs down the video. Some of y'all will look at this video with a lot of hate and will player hate. Some of y'all will say, oh no, man, I think he drunk the simp Kool-Aid, man. I think he a man giant. I think he a simp. That's what some of y'all will say. Some of y'all will think, nah, I think he's on to the math and the science to really helping fix the problem. That is, if you're too short, too fat, ugly, I'm talking about if you're a man, or you're on an occasion physically sexually attractive to women, you might have to do a thing that we call bite the bullet. Now, bite the bullet means you're going to have to find the one thing that all women love, the one thing that's universal, the one thing that women sexually fantasize about while having sex with an alpha male, is a man who's not afraid of no challenges. A man who destroys all expectations, good and bad, leaves no questions, leaves no doubt in the woman's mind, and makes the woman stop playing mind games and shit tests. Now, this one's very strong and very powerful, but it requires lots of work, lots of self-improvement, and a lot of practice. And that is, at some point of the relationship, whether it's long-term or short-term, somewhere on that journey, you're going to have to find out what it is that the woman likes and what the woman don't like for sex. For an example, most men will say, I will hit it from the back. You know, white people call that anal sex. And black people us black people, we love to give stuff special nicknames. We'll say it's the doggy dog position. And I'm going to try to keep the names and the terms very PG, because I don't want YouTube to take the video down 24 hours. Because these types of videos, it can go from regular content to mature content to that of being, very perverted. And if they get too many complaints, they will take this video down with no hesitation. That means no sooner than I upload the video, It could be a day, two, it could be 3 days later. You go on there and you be like, man, you dropped this great killer video. I don't see it no more. And this happened to a lot of big name YouTubers. Ringo TV Raw made a YouTube video 3 years ago called How to Eat a Woman's Ass Out. And that video became so controversial, so over the top, that YouTube sent him a private message and said, take that video down. And whether Ringo TV Raw liked it or not, he had to take the video down. O'Shea Duke Jackson made one. And it was about masturbation. They sent him a private message and they told him, take that shit down. And O'Shea took it down. And a lot of people were furious. So those videos are like a little extreme. They do help. They had the answer to the problem. But when you put something up on a platform like YouTube, it can get taken down like that. So I have to be very careful about what I say in this video, because depending on how I say it, it may stay up there, it may get taken down. It's a very sensitive subject. Not everybody is open to the idea of what I'm about to present to you. Now, some of y'all that watch the video, you might be okay. You might be cool with it. But then you might have a best friend at work, at school, or at the gym that might say, I'm not cool with that. I'm not comfortable with that. I'm dumbing down the video and I'm going to have YouTube take it down. And then you go up there tomorrow, or you go up there 2 days or 3 days or a month later, and you can't find the video in the video category. Even if I make a duplicate and I put it on my other channel, they still can take it down. So I'm trying to explain to you how this works. So if you see it today or tomorrow, and then it's 2 days later or 3 days later, don't be surprised if it gets taken down. Now, there's a 60% chance it will stay up, and there's a 40% chance they'll take it down. So 40% as in they'll take it down, 60% it'll stay up. Now, if you want to satisfy a woman sexually, like really satisfy her sexually, well, biting the bullet, meaning finding out what she likes. Most women dream of a man getting on their hands and knees and go down on her homemade apple pie and just leave it at that. I'm not going to say what it's really called. I'm just going to give it nicknames, and you're just going to have to read between the lines and figure it out for yourself. They have books on it. A man get on his hands and knees and eat her homemade apple pie. Now, black women love that. White women love that. Mexican women love that. And if you notice, the women, when they come to work, her body language and her level of energy is better than it was when she wasn't, going crazy and shit. Like, think about it. You ever ask yourself, when a woman when she come to work, about 60% of the time the woman is sexually frustrated. She's always angry. She's always snapping at everyone. She rolling her eyes. She halfway want to take your head off your shoulder, punch you in the face, kick you in the balls, and you'll be like, what's wrong with this woman? Well, if a woman works 8 hours, 10, 15, 20 hours, 5 days a week or 6 days a week, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and 60% of the time she is sexually frustrated, she's going to have a nasty attitude. She's going to be rude and disrespectful to just about every man she don't find physically, sexually attractive. And she's going to give a lot of her male co-workers a hard time. And then you'll get some guys that are manginas and simps and will say, well, she's bipolar. Even if there's a 90% chance that she is bipolar or no bipolar, the vast majority of women, when they work 8, 10, 15, 20 hours, they're sexually frustrated 60% of the time. And the women who come to work with a smile on their face, they're happy, they're excited, they just can't wait to tell the gossip news, that's the one that's got laid. That's the one that, as they like to say in the hood, she had her back blown out. So anytime somebody use that term, her back got blown out, that's a nice way of saying she got her some McDonald's McLovin. And I'm saying McDonald's McLovin, so you're going to have to read between the lines. Because I don't want YouTube to take this video down. This video will help you if you're fat. If women say you're too fat, you're too short, you're ugly, or you are physically sexually attractive to women, but on an occasion you're physically sexually attractive. And you see, bite the bullet means you're going to have to do something that you don't want to do as a man. Think about it. If you tell a woman, I want you to give me some McDonald's McLovin. Well, if she got to give you some McDonald's McLovin, you got to give it back in return. You know, fair is fair, fair and impartial. If you tell a woman, I want to have fun with your hamburger, well, you're going to have to do something back in return, because fair is fair. And you see, this same thing with men. When men come to work, you always hear someone say, he's always angry, he's always mad. You know, what's his problem? Well, that man is sexually frustrated. You know, that man is going 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. He ain't getting no ass from no woman. Black women, white women, Mexican women, Asian women, young, old, black or white. He can't get no attention from women when he puts in 8 hours, 10, 15, 20 hours on the clock at his job. He's sexually frustrated. And you should know the rules of anger. Rule number 1, nobody wants to deal with an angry man or an angry woman all the time. So if you're an angry man, it is normal for people to stay away from you. You get called names like you're an asshole, you're a jerk, you're a punk, you're a bully. You get called all those names because you're always angry. You take things personal. You know, somebody gives you some constructive criticism, then you know, you get pissed off because they're telling you about yourself and your personality, and they're telling you you got all this negative energy, and everyone at work can feel the negative energy. The customers, your boss, you know, everyone that comes in, they can sense your anger. Oh, okay, this guy got a problem. I'm gonna have to, you know, stay away from him because he look like the type of guy that might, you know, turn into the Incredible Hulk and shit. How do I know? Because I sometimes get angry. And there's some people who look at me like, all right, I'm going to stay away from you because you got a problem. And it ain't got to be that you have a problem. It's the level of energy that you bring to work in that atmosphere that make people go, you got a problem. And then you take that same anger and you go out into the world with that anger. You know, you go to the nightclub, a girl rejects you, there go that anger again. And then before you know it, everyone can see that anger. I've done martial arts. And one of the things that the martial arts had helped me with my anger is learn how to confront it. And instead of always, you know, trying to hide the anger, confront it and have it work for you. The point is, you might have to bite the bullet. You might have to eat her homemade apple pie. You might have to say, I might have to get on my hands and knees and enjoy the Big Mac. You know, I call it the Big Mac if it's a white girl. If it's a black girl, I call it the Whopper. If it's a Latino girl, I'll say it's Jack in the Box. So I've given it names, but you're going to have to figure out between the lines. The reason why I'm using foods is because it's better to use foods to explain it. And you see, by me doing that, you get the concept. You might have to bite the bullet. A woman is more happy and more satisfied when a guy bites the bullet and eats out her homemade apple pie. And when I say eat out her homemade apple pie, you should know exactly what I'm saying. She'll be happy and satisfied. You won't get into no fights and no arguments and no confrontations for almost 3 months. For almost 3 to 6 months, there's no arguing. There's no confrontation. She ain't coming from work to home with an attitude. You know, you get your breakfast, lunch, and dinner cooked. I call it the Hollywood treatment. She cook you breakfast, lunch, and dinner and treat you to a nice little dessert. You know, you get your back massage, your neck massage, your feet massage. She asks you how was work. You get the Hollywood treatment when you do Bite the Bullet Association. Now, when you say I don't want to do that, as soon as you say I don't want to eat homemade apple pie, she'll be like, all right, okay. And then this is when cheating occurs. This is when cheating pops up. She'll go find somebody who don't have a problem doing that. And then you be trying to figure out why this guy got the phone number and it's your girlfriend or it's your wife. And you see 70% of women initiating divorces, it has something to do with the woman asking a man to do something, and the man gets sick and tired of doing it, so he say the hell with the shit. Well, it's the same thing with this. When a man say the hell with eating homemade apple pie, no thank you, not my style, well, you absolutely is correct. But then don't complain when you come home from work to your house or your apartment and you catch her messing with some guy that's a professional football player or a basketball player. The thing is, there's a difference between winners and losers. Losers have all the excuses in the world. They give you every time somebody lose a championship game in professional football, baseball, or basketball, here come all the excuses. And winners do any means necessary to win. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players of all times, he got up at 4 o'clock in the morning, got in his car, went all the way down to the stadium where the Bulls play, and shot in an empty gym for almost 3 hours every single day to practice his jump shot. And then when it's time to play the game, Michael Jordan would make 60, 70% of his shots. Kobe Bryant would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, go into an empty gym, and hit 3,000, 4,000 jump shots for 3 hours. Reggie Miller would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and do that. Now, guys like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird would get up at 3:30 in the morning when everyone's asleep and spend 3 hours hitting jump shots for 3 hours. And when the game starts, these guys look like superheroes. They look like superhumans. They would do things that would make you say, man, he's not from planet Earth. He's from another planet. And then you wonder why these guys hardly ever make mistakes. Because they practice on not making mistakes. And the average man doesn't seem to understand that when he gets a girlfriend, it comes with a lot of work and responsibility. And then you be trying to figure out how come this guy got the phone number and you don't. The guy was willing to do any means by necessary. That means winners do whatever it takes to win. You look in professional sports, a lot of athletes get caught taking drugs, right? You know, performance enhancement drugs. You know, they get caught taking growth hormones, which is better known as GnHB. They'll take PhDs. They'll take testosterone replacement, steroids, anabolic steroids. It would take all these performance enhancement drugs to perform at a high competitive level so they can stay having a competitive advantage. And then some would call it an unfair competitive advantage. That's the mentality of a winner. A winner wins by any means necessary. Even if it's considered cheating, a winner will try to win by any means necessary. And they get better results. Losers, you see losers all the time. You see losers 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. What does your typical average loser say? Well, it was too much work. Well, I don't want to do that. Man, that's too complicated. Man, that's too hard. Man, I don't want to do that. And when losers lose, they have excuses. Doesn't matter if it's 50 excuses, 100 excuses. Losers have excuses 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And then these guys go 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, constantly having excuses. They'll blame everybody else for their problems, but don't want to take a look in the mirror and realize it's their fault. Winners, the reason why they can walk up the street with their head held high looking up in the sky is because they did everything that was required of them to win. Yeah, there are going to be some good days and some bad days. Yeah, there are going to be some days where you feel like you're getting somewhere, and then there's days where you're not getting nowhere. And I've always said in my YouTube video that if you don't want to wait 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, or extreme cases, 25 to 30 years, then you need to do self-improvement. And self-improvement is another way of saying practice all the stuff that you're terrible at and be good. Self-improvement is about taking the worst parts of yourself and transforming into the best version of yourself. And it ain't just so you can have sex with all the hot girls. Self-improvement means to self-improve in every category. If you got an apartment, go from an apartment to a house. If you ride the bus and you take the train, get a car, a truck, or a motorcycle. If you're fat and out of shape, go to the gym and get a gym membership. If you hate your job and you need to make money, go get 2 jobs, go get 3 jobs. That's what self-improvement is. It's the concept of what I just said. Michael Jordan would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go to an empty gym and shoot the basketball for 3 hours straight, getting 3,000 shots. While everyone is still asleep, he's getting up, training his butt off, because he knows that he's going to have to play against Patrick Ewing and the New York Knicks, Reggie Miller and the Indiana Pacers. He knows he has to face those teams when he's playing against them during the NBA season. So he has that winning mentality. I'm not going to wait until, there's a problem and then I can't correct it. I'm going to correct it when there is no problem. Now, what I just said, a lot of people got confused. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to practice to correct the problem when there is no problem to correct. I'm going to correct it before there's a problem. That's how you eliminate problems from becoming a problem, by handling something when there's nothing to handle. It's a confusing concept, doesn't make sense, takes a long time to understand it. But winners do whatever it takes to win. Losers, they got excuses for everything. And when I say everything, they do. So if you're fat or ugly or too short, or you on an occasion you look good to women, and I said on an occasion, then you might have to eat homemade apple pie. You might have to go to the back of Jack in the Box. You might have to go into the back of the Big Mac. You might have to go into the back of Jack in the Box and bite the bullet. Those women will be more happy and more satisfied to the point where you ain't got to hear no whining and no complaining. Versus, she won't cook you breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So you got to get your ass in the kitchen and fix your own shit. You ain't got to hear her come from work to home arguing with you and somebody got to call the police. See, guys, when they be complaining, they complain because they want the girl to service them, but they don't want to service the girl. The women will service men if men service women. Now, you have a choice to say yes or no. Now, 80% of men say no all the time. But then they go on YouTube and they make YouTube videos and they say, man, she won't give me the Hollywood treatment. She won't give you the Hollywood treatment because you don't want to bite the bullet. See, guys that are super physically sexually attractive, guys that are alpha males, guys that are 8s, 9s, and 10s, they don't have to eat homemade apple pie because they got their shit together. They have everything. Money, looks, and status, they have everything. Guys that don't have their shit together have to bite the bullet. Guys that are not rich and famous, guys that have not self-improved themselves have to bite the bullet. If you don't believe me, just go ask Tom Leykis on YouTube when Tom Leykis says the term use older women and fat women as batting practice. What is Tom Leykis really saying on YouTube? He's basically saying in a nice way, you're going to have to bite the bullet at some point. At some point, you need some practice. At some point, you need something to work towards to. I don't want to make this video longer than what it has to. So I hope you guys understand the concept of this video. Until then, peace.